Malawi.
Listen up now, Dr. Tata, listen up now.
Say what?
Listen up now, Dr. Tata, listen up now.
Kiri kopeta kaukamnati shai buti.
Give up.
Saluti wena. Chesa. Shaya.
Yebo.
Wena. Eh. I'll be there wena. Chencha wena. Sontwene sithandaza sitshela uNkulunkulu unsimba bethu shayi busimba hoza wena tshentsha mlanga thula mabota wena just pinda shaya mzala Chencha wena. Bala wena. Hey. Shayi buti. Jesus. Oza. Oza chencha wena. Shall you seven? Chencha.
Doing that dance.
We're not doing that dance?
No, sir.
Why not?
That's a DC dance.
So what? We in DC, man.
We doing African style.
We know we're in the Kennedy Center, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kennedy Center is in DC.
We're still doing African. Still doing African dance.
Wait a minute. Just because we are a South African dance company, you telling me that we in DC, we cannot whoop the nene?
No. No, sir.
Are you for real?
Yes.
Dude, we in DC, the Kennedy Center. We have to be able to whoop the nene, man.
We can't whoop the nene. We're not doing that dance.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you want me to stick to the South African dance?
Yes, sir.
Stick to Gumboot.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask the audience.
Okay.
Young lady right here, do you think I should not whoop the nene?
No.
Or she said I can whoop the nene.
I let grandma have it.
She said I can whoop
She
the
won.
nene.
Yeah, she
She
won.
said I can. Thank you, darling. I'm about to whoop this nene thing. You ready? She's not ready.
She's
ready. Not ready.
She ready.
Oh, she's ready. All right.
Yeah.
Sha, you booty man. Eh?
Yeah, well,
Come on, now. What now?
hold up, it's a party going on.
Wait a minute, man. I was
Kennedy
trying to
Center.
party.
Kennedy Center party.
I was trying to party South African style. You said no.
South African style. Woo, at the Kennedy Center.
Now you want us to go back to whooping the nene.
Nah,
No?
nah.
What does he want? He's confusing me.
No, I'm not. This is South African party style.
South African style?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the way at the back there, I have a friend. Let me
sir.
talk to my friend there in the back, all right?
Yes, sir.
Because I want to invite her to the party. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maji, istokufana seplaya yami leso. Mina nyayisupport le ndaba.
Zimbabwean mali ya place, blah, one meeting. That's that.
Hold on, Deshan. She didn't hear me. Let me try one more time. I said, Maji, istokufana seplaya yami leso. Mina nyayisupport le ndaba.
Zimbabwean mali ya place, blah, one meeting. That's that.
Except for yazi ukuthi mina ngiyanqala. Mina ngeke ukuthi clean up the tables,
Clean up the tables.
count the empties.
Count the empties.
Wait a minute. There are kids in here. We cannot count the empties.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cannot count the empties. Plus, it's Tuesday. It's a school day tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Let me try one more time. Except for yazi ukuthi mina ngiyanqala. Mina ngeke ukuthi clean up the tables.
Clean up the tables.
Read those books.
Read those books.
No?
Nah.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Nah. I think they want to count the empties.
Yeah.
They want to count them. Let me move forward.
Yes, sir.
Except for uyazi ukuthi phansi phezulu mina mase ngidakilwa ngilenye ukuthi sayishaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Shaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Sayishaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Shaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Sayishaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Shaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Sayishaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Shaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Sayishaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Shaya ingoma.
Shine, you go, man.
Sayishaya ingoma.
Shine,
Now
you go,
wait
man.
now. What
Go-
now?
Don't go too fast.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
look at the noodle.
You got a noodle legs. Hold on. I can slow down
You're
for you.
killing me right
I
there.
will slow down for you. Don't worry. Let me slow it down.
Killing me.
Except mafethu yini njalo nje mangizodensa lo mshini lokuthi
Get low.
around the world. Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lesole Dance Project. My name is Felix Lindere. I don't come from South Africa, I come from Malawi. Now, we are all in the southern part of Africa, so this is familiar ground for me. I wanted to be a dancer, but I ended up being a director of Lesole Dance Project, and here I am trying to introduce the dance band. This was Gumboots. You see they're hitting their boots, and this was developed by the miners in South Africa. In those days, they were not allowed to speak to each other when they're working, so the only way they could communicate was through, somehow they managed to communicate through hitting their boots. So that's how the dance originated. So all the miners, they're miners from South Africa, miners from Zimbabwe, miners from Zambia, miners from Mozambique, and miners from Malawi. So that was like their natural just one dance they could do together. Next one, there'll be a drum call. And are you ready, guys? Huh? Drum call, are you ready? They're not ready yet. They should be ready by now. Are there any questions so far? I can take one or two questions. No questions? Okay. They'll be ready shortly. It takes a while to dress up and stuff like that, but yeah. Huh? Where did the company name come from? Oh, we are based in Maryland, and the address is, Lesole, what's the address again? In Mount Rainier. There's a small, there's a brochure in your program, so the address is there, and then there's also the program when kids can come and practice and stuff like that. So everything is in there. It's all, and you can Google it anyway. You can, www.lesoledanceproject.com, and you should be able to get all the information you request. Another question? All right, thank you.
Chenja wena. Hey, hey.
Yebo.
Chenja wena.
Yebo.
Hoza wena. Just hey.
Yebo.
The dance you just. Don't turn it off, just leave it on. The dance you just saw is it's called Ishi Pelani, and it's from Zimbabwe. Any doubters out there? Where is Zimbabwe, by the way? Where in Africa? Southern Africa. So we have Zimbabwe there, South Africa's down there, Zimbabwe here, Malawi here, that's where I come from. There's Mozambique down there, there's Tanzania up here, there's Zambia up there, Botswana, and what's the other one? The one that makes a lot of oil. You should know that one. Angola. Yeah, Angola. That's the Southern African region. So this particular dance comes from Zimbabwe, and it's called Ishipelani. Now, the owners of this dance are the Shonas. But the Tsongas, which is another big tribe in Zimbabwe, say it's their dance. So I don't know which one is which, but originally it's from the Shonas. And the Shonas are in Zimbabwe, some are in Mozambique, and some parts of Malawi, in the southern part of Malawi, you also find the Shonas. And this is their dance. Let's go to the next dance. The next dance is called Nklamu. And this is a South African dance. This dance is performed by the Zulus. The Zulus, when the Zulu king, before they go to war, he would train his warriors how to fight. So they would have all these shields and swords and everything, and he would train them how to fight. And the dance is called Nklamu. Now, the women also practice the same dance to welcome the warriors after the battle. So it's performed both by men and by women. Are you ready, guys? No, they're not ready yet. So, does anybody know anything about the Zulu tribe? You don't know? Okay, the Zulu, the most notable king was Zulu, but the most notable warrior was Shaka Zulu. No? Yeah, please Google it, read. It's all there. He was one of the most feared warriors in the whole of Africa. And when the Dutch came to South Africa and colonized before they colonized South Africa, they had a lot of wars with this man. And eventually they somehow conquered him because he was only fighting with his, swords and spears and stuff like that. But the Dutch had, what did they have? Guns. So it's very hard to fight a gun with a sword or a spear. So he lost, but the kingdom is still there. And the Zulu people are one of the most proud people in Africa. You tell a Zulu that you are a Shona, you're asking for a fight because they are so proud, and they are always practicing their dances, and it's very, very nice to see. So when they're ready, you ready? They are ready now. Thank you. That was the Zulu dance. I hope you enjoyed it. It's from South Africa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next dance is called Setapa. And it originates from Botswana. In the Kalahari Desert, Google, in Botswana, almost half of Botswana is a desert. So in that desert, there's a tribe or a group of people. They are called Bushmen. Don't call them Bushmen, though, because they take offense to that. So those people perform this dance, and they are mostly nomadic. They don't have, they go from place to place and do all sorts of things, hunting. Most of when they do their dances is mostly when they're going out to hunt, or they're celebrating something, or maybe there's also a death in the family and stuff like that. So it's an all-inclusive dance, and it's called Setapa, and it's performed by people in Botswana. In Botswana, the population is like maybe 2 million, but the country is one of the biggest countries in Africa. But the population is only about 2 million because most of it is desert, and there are not many people out there, but they have got very nice wildlife and stuff like that. So next time you want to take a vacation, please go to Botswana. You might enjoy it there. And it's actually one of the richest countries in Africa because it's very stable. The government is very stable. Their governance is very good, and they're one of the richest in Africa. Which one is the richest country in Africa? Anyone? He says South Africa. Is that true? Which is the richest country in Africa? Nigeria? Okay, between Nigeria and South Africa, which one do you think is number one? Is one of those? Yes, Nigeria and South Africa. I don't know, man. I don't know. But they say it's South Africa. Yes, South Africa is number one, and Nigeria is number two. And what's the common denominator of these countries? Why is Malawi so poor, where I come from, and South Africa is so rich? What's the reason for that? Mines, yes, they have mines. South Africa is rich of mines. They've got gold, silver, all sorts of diamonds, and all those minerals you can look for. And Nigeria doesn't have a lot of minerals, but it has got oil. And that's what makes it richer than my poor country, Malawi. Please help us. In Malawi, we are so poor, it's pathetic. It's really sad. But then, no, I won't cry. I came here to make some money and go back there and invest. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? They're ready. They're almost ready. So they're going to do the Setapa dance. This is a mellow dance. It's not very physical. And as I said, it comes from the Kalahari Desert, and it's mainly done by the Bushmen. Thank you. I'm back. Now, we were only given 1 hour, actually 45 minutes to do the dances. We have a whole lot of other dances, but we cannot do them in one night. They haven't done my Malawi dance yet. They haven't done the Tsonga dance yet. And there's a whole lot of other dances that they haven't performed, but because of time, we have to call it good night. But before we say that, I would like to mention that Lesole Dance Project is a non-profit organization. We are registered under the IRS section 501c3. So whenever you can help, please donate, go online. We have everything in there. Just help us develop this, this dance project, because it helps a lot of kids. We take in kids from other places, and we help them learn how to dance.
We want to say thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lesole Zachariah Maine, and that is Felix Linderi, one of our board members. And we have Tiana Loveless. And we have, if they ever come back, after all that, we have Jessica Mngube. And we have Deshaun Howell. Again, thank you very much, folks. We want to say, if you have any further questions, I heard that you had some questions at the beginning of the performance. We will be here willing to answer your questions. And also, Felix has a book. He forgot he put it somewhere. If you are interested in becoming on our mailing list, we will be ready and waiting to take your emails. You know, we promise the only thing we will send to you, it will be the news about the company. With that, we want to say thank you very much for your support to the Kennedy Center. And to you, audience, thank you.